Hello, friends. Welcome once again to the Voice of Hope. Today is day number 4 in our series on the life of Naaman and how God, through his servant Elisha, healed him. Today's message has been entitled, Obedience Leads to Success. You know, when finally Naaman got to the house of the prophet Elisha, Elisha only sent his servant Gehazi to tell this powerful man, Naaman, to go and dip himself 7 times in the Jordan River. This was a simple message as we learned in the other lesson. Naaman didn't want to accept it because Naaman expected some grand, thing. As today, many people would want what Ghana we call akwankyerɛ, some deep knowledge, some deep secret, some deep stuff to do. Buy this, do this and that. God doesn't work that way. He only instructed this man, go and dip yourself 7 times and you'll be healed. When Naaman heard this, he said, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. This was too simple. I can't do that. It is too demeaning. I will not do this. You see, my dear friend, sometimes God would ask us to do something that in our human understanding may not make sense. But listen, if it is coming from God, once we obey it, we will prosper. Throughout the Bible, all the time, anytime God's people obey him, they prosper. Anytime they disobey him, they go through difficult trials. Look at the Israelites. When God saved them from their bondage in Egypt, out of disobedience, they wandered in the wilderness for many years. Finally, the original people who got out of Egypt, none of them stepped foot in the promised land. Cain lost everything because he did not obey God. Would you obey the voice of God today? You would prosper. Whatever God has told you in his word, when you do it, it will be well for you. Naaman struggled to obey God's voice. But later on, God inspired one of his own servants in 2 Kings chapter 5, verses 13 and 14 and said, my father, had the prophet told you to do some great thing, would you not have done it? How much more then, when he says to you, wash and be clean? So he went down and dipped himself 7 times in the Jordan, according to the word of the man of God, and his flesh was restored like the flesh of a little child, and he was clean. When Naaman obeyed God's instruction, Naaman received his healings. Maybe the reason why certain things are not going on in your life is because you have made up your mind not to obey God. Maybe the reason why your business is not going well is because you are disobeying God in tithe and offering. Maybe the reason why your health is not well is because you are disobeying God when it comes to what he wants you to eat. Maybe the reason why your marriage is on the rocks is because you are disobeying God's instruction that as a man, love your wife as Christ loved the church. And as a woman, humble yourself and submit yourself to your husband. If you obey God, success would be your only option. Obedience, my dear friend, is the only key to success. When Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego faced the trial in their life, when Nebuchadnezzar erected the statue, they chose to obey God, and God turned the heat in that oven into an air condition, and their life became a testimony. Today, decide to obey God, and it will be well for you. Have a blessed day. Shalom.